Good morning, everybody. Hope Aunt Linda got through her surgery okay and is recuperating. And we have all kinds of fun stuff going on. Um, Hard to imagine that we're almost halfway through September already. Isn't that amazing? It is thoroughly crazy. Okay. Anyway, this is the way it is. All right. Not much going on. Ladies group today. Prayer group is probably going on. Hopefully, it's focusing on prayer and not gossip. But if it isn't focused on anything but prayer or gossip, then, well, it's problematic. But anyway, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to have a great day today. It was great to see Gail and Todd and Gavin yesterday. That was pretty awesome. It's always good to see people from my home congregation. So, what's up, Doc? That's Bugs Bunny, for those of you that don't get it. All right, daily text today, Psalm 40, verse 4. Happy are those who make the Lord their trust. You see, when we get into a deeper relationship with God, when we're meditative and reflective about Him being a major part of our life, if we sit quietly and wait for Him to speak to us, which I got to admit, it's hard, okay? Very hard. But when we do that, okay, God lets us know that He's there for us. And that's extremely important, especially in today's world, because today's world feels kind of wacky. Okay. It's not the safe, secure, sound. Well, see, this is our perception. When we're growing up, the world feels safe, all right? Because there's a ton of people that are bigger than us and they seem to be okay. So we kind of relax into it. And then later on, we look back and we go, oh, that was so nice. But the adults were a little skittish, all right? I mean, think about what was going on, the nuclear arms race, political upheaval, assassinations, all kinds of stuff. And in the 80s, I was living in Iowa in the middle of the farm crisis. Well, people were saying that the 80s were kind of like going back to the 50s. Well, I didn't feel that. It felt icky. Okay. For 6 years, we lived in an area that really hadn't recovered from the Great Depression. And the people were angry and bitter and very difficult folks. We were never allowed to be part of the community. Hang on a minute. But we survived it, and then we went to Arkansas, And we, excuse me, we dealt with people that were angry that they were getting older and jealous of the fact that Denise and I were younger. And now that I'm the age that most of those people were, I don't get it. It's not the younger people's fault. It's time, okay? But if you go back to what were they trusting in, okay? Their own reason or strength, um, the need to be rescued by others. The only person that can really rescue us is God. And once He rescues us, um, we don't need anybody else. Okay, we can, by being cautious at times when we need to be, we we can actually rescue ourselves. And but to put all that onus on somebody else, not God, is, well, it's false, and it's kind of hurtful, and it's it puts undue pressure on that person. And the interesting fact is, sometimes the person that we are asking to rescue us doesn't even know that we're asking them to do that. Okay, because we don't express our needs, we just sort of lean too heavily on them. And then when they in their humanity disappoint us, we lash out. Trust me, that's not healthy, folks. But we're all guilty of it. All right. Um, and as soon the sooner the sooner we get over it and start looking to God and the resources that God gives us that are ours, better off we're going to be. Okay. John 1:41. Andrew first found his brother Simon and said to him, "We have found the Messiah." This is important. The first thing Andrew did, okay, when God impacts us, excuse me, allergies. Who do you need to tell? Okay? Who needs to know that God is a major part of your life now? And that He is the giver of all good things. Okay? And that He has impacted and changed your life. Okay? That's our job. That's what we're supposed to do. Do we do that? No. And yesterday's sermon was not one of my better ones. And I had the potential to offend a ton of people, which probably, I confess I shouldn't have done. But in my own bumbling way, I was trying to express that we need to get over ourselves. People are so worried about, well, I might offend somebody. Okay. So maybe they need to be offended. Think about it. Just kind of think about it. All righty. Let's pray. Jesus Christ, you are the anointed one. You were empowered to bring light to replace darkness, plenty to replace poverty, life to replace death, goodness to replace evil, forgiveness to replace sin, even my sin. You are worthy of my trust. Enable me to trust you always. Invigorate me and use me to love like you. All right. A lot of people would take this prayer and deal with the world around them like they were, well, prosperity theology. Okay. Um, Prosperity theology says that everything I'm going to get from God, I'm only going to get in this life. And that being well fed, fat, and happy, healthy, and rich are the outward signs of being blessed by God. But that's not what the Bible tells us. And we kind of forget that. Um, Paul writes, we are to rejoice in God always. That means even when things are not okay, we rejoice in God that He's providing for us protection, a potential solution that we haven't seen yet, but we throw ourselves on God. We rely on Him, and He provides for us. So, is it easy? Absolutely not. If it was easy, we wouldn't need Jesus, right? Okay. So, C.S. Lewis, if you have the book, you were reading about learning, um, and learning as necessity. Okay. Now we're back in C.S. Lewis, September 9th, from Mere Christianity. And the title is, What is Charity? Okay, let's see what C.S. Lewis has to say. Charity now means simply what used to be called alms, that is, giving to the poor. Originally, it had a much wider meaning. You can see how it got the modern sense. If a man has charity, giving to the poor is one of the most obvious things he does. And so people came to talk as if that were the whole of charity. In the same way, rhyme is the most obvious thing about poetry. And so people come to mean by poetry simply rhyme and nothing more. Charity means love in the Christian sense. But love in the Christian sense does not mean emotion. It is a state not of the feelings, but of the will. The state of the will which we have naturally about ourselves and must learn to have about other people. Okay. Best example of this, you're walking down the road and you need to cross the street. What do? What have we been taught? Look both ways. Our natural inclination is what? To look to the left and to look to the right in America. But if you go to England, okay, or Australia, you need to look to the right and then the left. And in England, I'll tell you, the pedestrian does not have the right of way. When I was in England visiting my youngest, and we went to the shopping center, and we parked in the parking garage, okay, and we went to the stores, and we were coming up the stairs and going to walk out into the parking garage itself, and I looked to the left, and I sort of looked to the right, and I took a step out, and a car went, all right. My daughter grabbed me and pulled me back. And she goes, if that woman had hit you, it would have been your fault. All right. So from then on, I looked to the right and I looked to the left. And when I got home, I had to break myself of that. But that's still having charity for myself. I take a multivitamin. Um, I wear clothes appropriate to the outside temperature. Except for yesterday, I dressed too heavily for the outing that I was on, and I was a little sweaty. But that's okay because I wasn't dying, but everybody else had shorts and t-shirts on, and I looked like I was bundled up for fall. And I was sitting in the sun. Hang on, my assistant wants in. Come on. Yes, buddy, I know. Okay. You gonna come up and say hi? No. All right. So, I do things. Oh, here we are. There we are. Yeah, hi. Your kisses? Okay. I brush my teeth. I put on clean clothes. I make my bed, or my bed gets made most of the time, I got to admit. Um, I eat nutritious food. I try to spend some time exercising every day. Okay. And I take care of myself as best I can. And this guy, who is a little bit of a wiggle worm. So that's the kind of charity that we develop for others. Now, we have misdefined it, not mystified, but falsely defined it as, well, I have to have feelings of, um, caring and good morning, Miss Jan. And, warm fuzzies for everybody around me. No, that's not what charity is. Charity is what you need. When we care about our children, we have enough charity to correct them and discipline them and teach them to be good citizens, all right, and decent human beings. They don't always appreciate it because it isn't always an all-day sucker or a can of soda or a trip to the mall. Sometimes it's you need to sit down and think about the consequences of your actions. So charity then becomes what's best in this situation. Okay. And you aren't always going to get thanked for it. My kids did not enjoy, discipline at all. The youth group didn't always enjoy the and being caught and found out. They didn't appreciate me not being enthusiastic about some of the stuff that they did. Or I was enthusiastic, all right. I just wasn't going, wow, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. No, it was, y'all need to straighten out here. Okay. Um, that's charity. And the sooner we understand that, the happier we're going to be. Because otherwise we feel guilty because, well, I don't love that person. Well, loving that person may be standing back and letting things roll. Okay. Correcting them. Going, okay, that's what you want to do. Go for it. Okay. just remember there's going to be consequences. All right. So, anyway, it's Monday, and welcome to the week ahead. All right. Tomorrow is a very sad anniversary for us. It's the day our daughter died, and it's going to be kind of a tough anniversary. It's hard to believe that she's been gone since 2016. But thanks be to God, she's with the Lord. All right. And God, in His infinite love and mercy, has sustained us through all this. All right. So, the Pilgrim's Prayer. I'm not in control. I'm not in a hurry. I walk in faith and hope. I greet everyone with peace, and I bring back only what God gives me. Amen. Everybody have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow.